What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be a pretty chill day in the shop. There is a ton of little stuff on the STi that I want to take care of today. We do have a new mod to install. We'll probably do that a little bit later on today, but we have, let's see. I want to raise up the car a little bit, maybe 3/8 to 1/2 inch all the way around. We have to figure out why this bumper keeps popping off, or just to hear it all the way. My lip is already sagging, so it ripped a ton of the screws out of the lip when it hit on the ground. We gotta fix that. Yesterday we did get the new OEM steering wheel installed, but we do not have a horn or cruise control, so I probably have to pop the airbag back off, figure out if there's like a wiring clip I missed or something going on there. And we also have the check engine light to fix as well, which is related to the speed sensor, which is on the transmission, which is under the intercooler. So I don't know if, I haven't diagnosed that whatsoever. I don't know if maybe the wiring is disconnected or the sensor's bad. Could be a lot of little things going on there. But I'm trying to figure out what I want to do first on the car. And I think what I want to do first is raise it up a little bit. I do honestly, I really like how it looks. I love how it looks, but honestly, it's not all that drivable. If you guys watched that video with Bobby when I brought her on a ride, this thing scrapes and rubs a lot. I'll show you guys why when we pull off the front wheels. The rears are fine, they don't rub whatsoever, but the fronts are rubbing on the inner fender. I'm gonna pull the 8 out of the shop just so we have a bit more space, and let's get some stuff fixed up on the STi. When we originally put the coilovers on, we set it at 2 inches wheel to fender gap all around. It is down to 1 3/4 inches, so that means it's settled about 1/4 of an inch. So I'm gonna raise the car. Let's go with the 1/2 inch. I think 1/2 inch is gonna be plenty to where we're not gonna rub or scrape or any of that crap, but it's still gonna look really good. So let's go up a 1/2 inch all around, front and rear, and that should take care of every little issue that we have. And we do need to still align the car. We haven't aligned it yet, so I'll do that a little bit later on today. So when I say it's rubbing on the inner fender, I don't mean the actual plastic inner fender. That is completely removed out of the car. They were super torn up, so I decided just to leave them out. What I mean is it's rubbing right there. As you guys can see, it took a ton of the paint off. Thankfully, we already relocated the harness to above that little rail up there. So instead of raising up the car, technically what we could do is just take a hammer to all this and kind of bend it up. But I would rather just raise up the car a little bit. I don't feel like completely hammering this car apart right now. Let's get these coils raised up 1/2 inch, and that should take care of every rubbing issue. We got the car raised up. I ended up going about 3/8 in the front and about 1/4 inch in the rear. It was sitting just a little bit lower in the front to start off with, and it still looks really freaking good. Before we go on a drive, I want to pop off that airbag and see if there's anything I missed under there as to why the cruise control and the horn are not working. So I got the airbag off. I looked at some photos online, and there's a green plug-in that plugs into there, and then there's a ground wire, a ground clip that comes off of that harness that plugs in to that little clip on the back of the airbag. And it looked like it was running from the cruise control switch, but the only wire coming from this cruise control switch is this blue one with a white clip that's already clipped in. So I don't know if different years had the green plug-in that plugged into there with that extra ground clip or what is going on. One last thing I want to check out before we go and drive the car at all is that speed sensor. So let's pop out the intercooler. I have not ordered a new speed sensor yet. They're only like $50 or $60, but I just wanted to see if it's like even plugged in. There's been a lot of weird little issues with this car like that, where it's just like a super easy fix where you didn't need to replace any part. Let's pop this guy off. The wiring connector should be right under the intercooler for that speed sensor. So the speed sensor is that guy right in the center of the screen right there. It looks like it's plugged in. Everything looks to be okay. Just kidding, guys. I hardly pulled on this harness and the connector popped right off. So I don't know if it was on all the way. I don't know if that was our issue, because it just falls off no matter what. It won't actually clip on, but it's worth a shot. That would be really, really nice if that's all that the issue was it was not plugged in all the way. Like I said though, that connector, or the little clip on the connector, is broken. So it won't actually clip on to the sensor, but it's worth a shot. I'm just gonna go ahead and get this mod out of the way right now, because it's something that I feel like the car really, really needs. She looks beautiful and all. Got some nice wheels on it, got it lowered down a little bit. Got some stiffies on yesterday, which I know a lot of people aren't the biggest fan of, which is okay. I like them. I think I'm gonna run it for now. But there's one thing I think everyone could agree on, is this car needs new taillights. So these are the 0405 blob-eye tails. Picked them up here locally. That's what the factory 06 looks like. That's what the blob-eyes look like. These things should really make the car look a lot better, make the rear end pop quite a bit more. There'll be 4 nuts on the back side of the taillight. Pull those 4 nuts off, disconnect the wiring clip, taillight will come off. This is a direct swap, no wiring changes needed. You can do the JDM taillight mod, which I might do, honestly. I think I like it. It's pretty much where just this red circle lights up as the running light, instead of, I believe it's this one right here. I had that mod done on my last Hawkeye, and I think I liked it, but for now, I'm not gonna do it. I may do it in the future though. What do you guys think of the new tails? I think they look super, super nice. I've never really been a fan of that chrome housing. All reds are definitely my favorite. All right, let's go on a quick drive, see if the speedo is fixed, and see if it's still gonna rub. So our speedo still does not work. I may check over the harness one more time just to make sure like none of the pins are actually pulled out of the connector. I briefly looked at it, but I figured it was just the connector wasn't clipped on to the sensor. And if all that looks fine, I'll just throw a new sensor in there, and I'm hoping that will take care of the issue. But yeah, so far so good. I don't hear any rubbing going on. That little bit we raised it actually did a lot. It looks not that much different, but I haven't rubbed it all yet, which is super nice. We just put about a mile on the car, and it looks like the DCCD system is now working completely. It's not blinking anymore, and we can now change it from auto to lock and everything's working just fine. I went through and checked all the wiring. Everything seems fine. I figured while I'm in here, I'm gonna go ahead and pop off the sensor and make sure the gear inside the transmission is not shipped out, and make sure the sensor looks fine as well. So if we take a flathead and we stick it down in that little slot and it spins freely, then that would mean the gear in the tranny is stripped out. But it appears it's fine because it only moves back and forth a little bit. If it was stripped, I think it would just move around freely. I figured while we have that sensor out, I'm just gonna go ahead and replace it. So I went and picked up another sensor, a good, known, used, but I know it's good because I tested it beforehand, sensor, put it in the car, checked out all the wiring. All the wiring seems fine except for that connector that is going onto the sensor itself, but I still feel like it's actually making a good connection. I cleaned all the grounds. I know the transmission gear is not stripped. If it was, it would just spin freely, and it's not, so we should be good to go there. Let's throw the intercooler back on, go on a drive, and I'm guessing one of those things we just did should take care of our issue. So we know it's not the sensor itself. I'm very confident that it's nothing inside the tranny. So that pretty much leaves us with an electrical issue. There's got to be some sort of broken wire. I may just pick up a new connector and splice that into the harness for the speed sensor, just to rule that out. Always some sort of little electrical issue that I cannot figure out. We'll definitely get to the bottom of this eventually. Not exactly sure when, but hopefully it doesn't take us too long. Right now, I want to get the bumper back on. But of course, our lip is already ripping off. So let's get that attached, get the bumper back on the car. I know today was another not crazy day in the shop, but at least we got some new taillights on the car. That's dope. Did you have a fun drive with me?
Yes.
Why are you sleeping?
So tired.